Hi everyone, I welcome you to a new podcast with me, your host Girish. And in today's podcast, we're going to talk about the concept of impermanence. I've chosen this topic because if you look at everything that has been happening to the world right now in terms of the virus outbreak, the only thing that comes to my mind every day when I wake up is the concept of impermanence itself. And if you try to understand what impermanence means from a spiritual perspective and from a Buddhist perspective, if you want, we need to go back to the final words which Buddha said before he died. Before Buddha died, he said the following. He said that everything vanishes, therefore. There's nothing more important than continuing the path with diligence. So these are the final words from the Buddha, and if we try to interpret it, what he said in very simple words, in very simple language is, everything will die, everything will vanish, everything will disappear. And this is like the eternal truth. As human beings, we're born, we're going to vanish at some point. Everything disappears, everything vanishes throughout time, so that's the eternal truth. And there's nothing we can do about it because that's the way life is. And this is why the path is so important. This is why spiritual practice through meditation, through action is very important, because the only way we can cope, we can understand, we can adapt with this truth is through the practice. You can't deny it, you can't hide from it, you can't fight it. So what do? What we do is we need to accept it and find a way through it by embracing it. And this actually leads to a lot of discussions about change itself. Now, we talk about impermanence. What does impermanence means? It means that everything changes. Now, change in itself is always both good and bad. Because when something changes, it is refreshing, yes, but it also entails loss. Because every time something changes, what used to be is no longer here. So there is a certain kind of loss in everything. So in that way, loss and suffering form parts of life. They both form part of life because everything changes. So every time something is being refreshed, the old thing is dying, it vanishes. The same with us. Every day, millions of cells are created in our body and millions of cells die. So every day it's a new us. It's a new us living in terms of experiences also. All the experiences are gone, we have new ones coming. So every day there's a change, but at the same time every day there's a loss of something. Now we can look at impermanence from two perspectives. One perspective is actually training ourselves in a certain way that we can cope with impermanence. So through meditation, through spiritual practice, you calm yourself down and you prepare yourself to cope with the impermanence. On the other hand, you accept that impermanence is the truth. So like Dogen said, Dogen was a famous Zen Buddhist, he said that impermanence is itself Buddha nature. So for Dogen, impermanence was not something to overcome through the path, but impermanence was a path, and hence that's how the famous Zen proverb came, which says that the obstacle is a path. So you need to embrace the obstacle, and practice is not the way to cope with impermanence. Practice is the way to fully appreciate and live with impermanence. Alright? So it's a different take on the concept of impermanence. It's a very interesting one if you think about it. Alright? So with all the changes happening, the only thing we can do is accept the things the way they are happening and find the peace, find the wisdom among the chaos. This is what the practice is all about. Okay, everyone, so I hope that you found something interesting from it. See you very soon. Lots of love. Girish. Bye-bye.